Hi everyone and welcome to another TABILive, and today I've got the pleasure of welcoming onto this TABILive Marion Kirk. And Marion is going to be telling us all about her new Grief Journey Oracle, and that Kickstarter is going live tomorrow, so we're really excited to hear more about it, what it entails, and also where you can purchase it as well and where you can get involved in the Kickstarter process. So I'm just going to let Marion in. Very much for joining. It's lovely to see you all. Just waiting for the connection.
Hello.
Hi Marion, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. You look amazing. I love your hair.
Thank you.
It's even more red.
It is. I just I done my colour yesterday.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Welcome, and how are you?
I'm okay. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
It's a really exciting week for you, isn't it? So your Kickstarter is going live tomorrow. If I got that right.
Yep.
Amazing. And
exactly 24 hours for now.
oh, fantastic. And the artist on your Grief Journey Oracle is Terry Cottrell. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. Have you got some of the images that you can show us before the Kickstarter goes live?
Yes. I have got a prototype deck.
Fabulous. I saw it at the conference and it's beautiful.
Thank you so much. It's 48 cards. And are various. They're all Terry. She's painted them in oil paints, so they're all original works of art. They're all original, actual, real life paintings.
Oh, amazing! She's done a fantastic job with that.
She's amazing.
So when you worked together, did you draw them out first and then send them across to? Okay. Did you tell her the idea that you wanted for the card and then she did the painting from there?
Basically what we did, it was, oh, hi Christine. It was essentially it was really organic. You know, first of all, when I reached out to Terry and asked her and said like, hey, hi, I'm this crazy Scottish lady and you don't know me, but I've had this idea, and very, very, very luckily she agreed and she was on board, and that's what it was. But it was very sometimes I would get a vision of a card and I would immediately like send a voice note here on Instagram, like through DM to Terry, and I would be like, right, I've had this idea. And sometimes it would be like fully formed. Other times it would just be like a feeling that I knew there was like this, there was something that I needed that would express that emotion.
Okay.
But then other times it would be like, so the title of a card would come to me and I'd be like, right, what do you think about when I say this word? And then other things, it was just like when we had decided on using the majority of the cards as animals, it was really kind of I knew certain animals that I wanted to include in the deck. And the reason for animals is because I think that there's a certain level of innocence to animals, and I think that there's a vulnerability that we as humans can have in our connection to animals.
Yes.
And I think, you know, because the relationship that I've had with different animals throughout my life, you know, it's really special, you know, and there is that level of innocence because you know that they don't judge, you know, that they don't judge you. So I
was thinking about that with my cat today.
mhm,
She's just so loving, and she knows and senses if something's wrong with you,
mhm.
and just cuddle up and make sure that you're okay,
Yep.
and just that kind of care, is so special.
Mhm.
It really, yeah,
It is.
unconditional. It's lovely. Yeah.
It is. It's this unconditional love, and
Mm.
they don't care if like your hair's a mess or you've got no makeup on, or like certainly like from like pets' point of view. But then there's like relationships I've had with animals, and I've never met them. There's I like watch this particular YouTube channel, and it's about a herd of black Parisian horses, and I discovered it like very early on in the pandemic, and I have invested so many hours of my life watching the videos and the lives of these horses. And one of the kind of main horses in the herd, if you like the matriarch, in May this year, she died.
Oh.
And honestly, Janine, I
Mm.
was inconsolable.
Mm.
I mean, I was sobbing, and like a friend phoned me and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No." And she was like, "Marion, what's wrong?" And I was like, "Unique's died." And she's like, "That horse you watch on YouTube?" And I'm like, mm-hmm. And I think obviously like kind of unpacking it, there's so much more than just the horse passing away. There was so much more connected to it. But things like that, and then like some of the depictions in the cards for the experiences. It's like the one that springs to mind is the card that we did for there it's there, like it's like for child loss. It's if I think in the experience I've had with this particular card is it's like if somebody has never experienced that, they'll just turn around and say, "Oh, that's gorgeous, the wee baby bear sleeping with her mum." But what I've noticed is people who have had that experience, they see it right away. You,
Mm.
you know what I mean? And it's like, and it kind of takes a breath away a wee bit.
Yeah.
But there was no way that I could express that situation with like a human depiction.
Mm.
You know, and
Yeah.
and whilst for the very outset, I wasn't prepared to shy away from anything. I wasn't prepared to shy away from the hard, difficult topics, because I think that's the problem. We us, particularly in the West,
Oh, we don't talk
we
about it enough.
we don't talk about it, and
No.
everything's just swept under the carpet.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be a good point as well if you just explain the concept of the death knell and where you came up with the inspiration for it, what inspired you to create it, and link in with Terry as well.
So I never intended to do a deck. I genuinely did not. I know loads of people say that, but I genuinely did not. I was very content, like with my contribution, to the community, if you like. I was really happy just being a card slinger, creating content, going to conferences and getting up on stage occasionally, Um, but I never really seen myself as like a deck creator, and it was really, and I actually like explained this during in the Kickstarter page. My dad passed away in November 2020, and he passed away with COVID. And at that time, the way the world was, how you normally deal with a bereavement, like you couldn't do. You couldn't couldn't gather with family, you couldn't gather with friends, you know, and it was incredibly isolating, and being like so attached to like tarot, etc., and like divination, I didn't want a tarot deck. I needed something. I knew I needed something, but I didn't know what. And I went looking, and there was nothing. You know, there was amazing like ancestral decks and how to connect with your ancestors, and they're incredible. But there was nothing really that sat there in the middle of the night with you when you're either just sitting staring into space, feeling numb, or if you wake up and you're sobbing, you know, you feel like your heart is just broken and it will never heal. There was nothing that I could find. You know, there was like kind of affirmation decks and kind of a, oh well, you know, and take one step at a time, and all this like kind of.
It's not enough, is it?
No,
it doesn't go deep enough.
No, it was very superficial, and I was like, so I kind of put it away to the back of my mind, and then it was like during that kind of recovery process and kind of just getting things into perspective, etc., again in my life, and then it was like kind of there was always something in my back of my mind, you know, you should really do something. You should really do something. Don't know what it was. And then one day, the idea, and it was usually when I was making a cup of tea. It always seems to be when I'm making a cup of tea, or I'm like in the shower or something like that. And it was like my wee voices, I call it, are like, I don't know, was it muses, was it fate, was it whatever, was it my dad? Said, you need something to help people with grief. And I think it was a combination of that, and also I had just been listening to the news, and the phrase that really grated in me was, when we get back to normal. You know, and that seemed to be the phrase that I constantly seen all the time. And in my head I was just like, well, there is no back to normal for me. You know, I'm never going to experience what I thought was normal ever again. My dad's not here. You know, it's like the next time, like, for instance, there's a spider crawling up my wall and I scream it, I can't phone my dad and say, oh Dad, will you come and catch this spider? True story, I did used to do that, you know. but that's the thing, you know, something as silly as that. And I'm like, there is no back to normal. And I was like, well, if I'm feeling like this, there's other people feeling like this. And so I gained that kind of, right, I need to do something. And it just all kind of amalgamated. So I kept getting that thought, right, you need to do something. I hit upon the idea, right, how the foof am I ever going to create a grief deck? And I'm like, first of all, I can't draw. I cannot draw worth of. And so again, make a cup of tea, and it's like literally the voice is going, right, come on, you need to do this, need to do this, need to do this. And I was like, fine then, if I can do this, then find me an effing artist. I'm so spiritual honest. And then literally a couple of hours later, I'm scrolling on Instagram. A friend of mine had put in her stories that she had bought this piece of art for this artist. I'm like, oh my God, who is that artist? When seen Terry's work, utterly fell in love with it. Just completely fell in love, and bought this piece from her.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's a wooden crescent moon. I bought this, and there was something, I think when I got it, I shared it to my stories, and Terry replied and like thanked me for sharing it to my stories, because I was like, right, I didn't know how to contact her, you know, I didn't know how to say, like, I really like your work, you don't know me, but do you want to do this? And but she contacted me first, just by opening that door and saying thank you. So I kind of began the dialogue, and then, like, you know, as they say, the rest is history. She was on board, and aye. But she took a big chance on me. You know, she's a Gemini, which is just the best kind of person to have on board.
Yes, Gemini are yes people, aren't they? Then, and
Mm-hmm.
they are very, very brave as well, very courageous. You know, I think they just kind of step in where other people are a bit more reluctant. But
Exactly.
love Gemini.
We had a Zoom call, and I'll tell you exactly when we did. It was the 20th of April 2023. And the reason I know that is because it was the day that I stopped smoking unexpectedly. It was the same day I unexpectedly stopped smoking.
Right, okay.
I did it by mistake. I did it by accident. I had no intentions of stopping smoking, but
So there's a lot of big things going on at the same time then for you. Wow.
So we had a Zoom call, and I think we were on the phone, the Zoom call, for about 4 hours or something. And it was like we'd always known each other, and I was just like, I've found her, you know, I've found my artist, and she's done a couple of the paintings, and it was just like.
Where does she live?
It's incredible. Okay, so Terry is not involved in like the kind of divination community or tarot community at all, but she lives in where is it? It's Cornwall, and she lives like just like a few miles away from where Pixie painted the Rider-Waite-Smith.
Ah, wow.
So
Did she know
incredible.
about that?
No.
Or was it any? Oh, right, okay.
No, she didn't know anything about it. So and then see, when I discovered that, it just almost felt like this kind of I don't know, this wee kind of nod for the universe, you know, saying I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of trepidation, you know, about doing it, you know, and the first kind of a hurdle I had to get over was, well, who the F am I? You know, who am I? Who gives me the right to touch on a subject so emotive, you know, so difficult? And it was my mum who said, she goes, well, if no you, who?
And it's a way of dealing with your emotions, isn't it? And getting in touch with your emotions. And I know that you don't like the Queen of Cups, but it keeps coming in there though, doesn't it? It's interesting. I know that you're not too keen on that card. Not at all.
We're not too keen in any of the cups. we're really no.
But still, it's kind of it is what the Queen of Cups would do, isn't it? It would be dealing with emotions, helping other people through emotions, looking after people, and that's what your deck does. That's what your cards do. I think it's beautiful what you put together.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a real labour of love. I mean, it really has. You know, it's myself and Terry. It's not. You know, like, people will be like, "Oh, are you? What is it?
Did it just break then? I think the connection might have gone for a second.
Oh, sorry. Am I back? Am I okay?
It's fine. I think it's on my side. It's okay.
Right. So yeah, I mean, like, the things I was worried about was like, well, what will other people say? What will other people think? You know? And then I was like, do you know what? Basically, you know, and I was just like, I've never cared what other people have thought before, you know, and it's like the right people will find it, the people who need it will find it. Of course, there's going to be people who don't like it. That's fine, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marion. It's because people are messaging me and trying to call me. Don't they know that I'm doing a live? Yeah,
You
it's
know,
really
yeah, I've
sorry
got
about
my
that.
mum told. She's like every day, like she'll say to me, like she's really the only person that phones me. Everybody else like texts, DMs, voice notes, and she'll be like, "Are you doing any of your internet stuff tonight, Ken?" I'm like, "Don't phone me, I'll phone you." All right then.
That's good that she checks. Nobody checks with me. I just get a random call in the middle of it, and then it. I'm like, no. Oh.
Oh,
Thank you to everybody who's just joining us. So Marion's explaining the concept for her Grief Journey Oracle, which is going on Kickstarter tomorrow, and she'll give that link out shortly as well, how you can buy it and how you can get involved.
mm-hmm.
And also talking about the inspiration for the deck as well, and the person that she's worked with for the artwork for the cards, which sounds and looks amazing. So
She's magical. She is. She's just absolutely magical. And it was, you know, it was like so funny. I'm going to like try and find one of the cards to tell you the story behind it. So
I love the lion. I really love the lion.
Live.
Yes. I love
So
that
he's just that's what I says. And you know, the thing was, I said to Terry, I was like, could we have a lion? And that was it. You know, that was, I didn't say anything else. And I think one of the great things about the fact that she didn't know anything about tarot or divination or that, you know, if I had said that to somebody who knew about tarot, I feel like they would have drawn like a version of the strength card, you know. But she didn't, you know, and it was just like she just honestly, I mean, every time she would show me a new card, like or a new like painting, I would just cry. You know, I mean, I really would cry because of the absolute beauty of the artwork, you know, and it's just like
and
it's
she's
just
really got the concepts behind each one. So I assumed that you were doing a write-up as well with it, and were
yes.
you sending that at the
No,
same
no, no,
time?
no,
Okay.
no,
Oh,
no,
right, okay.
no. So the paintings came first. So how what we did was we decided how many cards we wanted, and I was like, right, we'll do 48. Right, it just came into my mind. Right, we'll do 48, and she was like, right, okay, and we sat and we were like, how are we going to like split this up? Because the thing is, with a tarot deck, you have a system. You know, you have a system to follow. And it's like, well, what do we do? You know, and I was like, right, 48, and I was like, right, 412s. So I'm going into like my kind of astrology thing, and I was like, right, we'll do 4 sets of 12 cards and we'll break them up into the elements.
Okay.
But this was just for the concept and for the like painting. But there's no any, this was just like for me and Terry to work with.
Okay.
You know,
So that compartmentalization isn't in the actual deck, so
no,
you've not got
no,
okay.
no, because it's very, one of the things we wanted was, it's like, I want this and we want this to be as like approachable as possible. I don't want it to be a system. You know, it's very much, I'm like, I feel it's saying, right, we've created these 48 images or these 48 archetypes. I've written some guidance in the book, but here, they're our gift to you. You know, you put your stories into them, you put your connections to them. You know, what is it, the images, what feelings or thoughts or, you know, like memories do these images invoke in you? and how can they help you in your journey? You know, it's not about me telling you, Terry, telling you like, oh, you should grieve like this, or this experience has happened and this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's much more organic than that, because grief is organic and we experience it all differently.
Yes, and at different times as well. When you think that you've gotten over something, all of a sudden it will take you by surprise, completely floor you, and you go through different stages, but not necessarily in the order that you know the graph where it says, okay, you start here, and then at some point you're here, and then you get back up here again. I'm like, no, that doesn't actually work.
It's no linear, you know. It's like some days you might be really angry, other days you might be just really sad, other days you might just want to, you might actually feel okay.
Yeah.
And then the days that you feel okay, then there's this kind of sense of guilt, because society tells us, you know, it's like, if you're feeling happy, you've got no right to feel happy. You need to be sad.
Yeah, and if you tell somebody that you're okay, you know, you're not necessarily okay, or the next day you might be back there again, where that person might have thought, oh, okay, they've recovered, they're back on their feet again, but it doesn't work like that. No.
And there's no a time limit either. You know, there's no like a, as you say, like a kind of a 5-step plan. You know, it isn't a straight line. You know, and I think this is part of the problem. You know, it's like we're so quick to move on for things. You know, and that's a concept that I've noticed with a lot of things. You know, especially now, it's like people don't have any attention span.
I think because we're in such a rush to get to where we're expecting to be. Yeah. And it's the expectation from everybody, isn't it, as well, that we're supposed to get over it really quickly and then just get back to where we were. But like you said, you can never be that person again, because you've changed fundamentally. It's really, I understand, and I'm so glad that you've addressed it, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's my Queen of Swords kind of type coming out. You know, it's like, yeah, there is care and compassion there, but at the same time, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to back away from having the difficult conversations. You know, I'm going to say it like it is, and if people don't like that, then I really don't care, because there's people out there who need to hear the message, and there's people who maybe are unable to say how they feel. Then if I can say it for you, or if one of the cards in this deck can express it for you, then that's the reason we want to do it.
And you were going to show a card then, weren't you? You were going to.
So this, I'll tell you the story behind this, right? So there's very few like human type people, right? There's very few people in the cards, but when I explained to Terry, I was like, right, there is some cards that we will have people in it, and this card is called Guardian, and I think this was the last one that Terry painted, because I think it was one of the hardest to. I think because I told her the story, it was, she just didn't want to mess it up. Not that she ever would have, you know. But so I told her the story and left her to it. And basically, so Guardian this is my personal experience with card. Myself and a friend were at her daughter's graveside. She lost a baby, and in the graveyard there was a separate area of the main cemetery for the children, for the babies, and it was this like just this wee kind of circular place, and it was all like high hedges, and it was heartbreaking, you know. Like it was utterly heartbreaking, you know, the fact that all these wee graves, you know, they had balloons and they had statues, and you know, I just felt the pain, you know. But and I kind of left her to, give her a time, because it was the anniversary. And she'd asked me, she was like, will you come with me today? And I'm like, of course, no problem. All the while I'm kind of inside, bracing myself like, oh, gold. So we went, and then it was as we were leaving, as we were walking out, I suddenly felt this presence. And I'm like, right, okay. And it was as if I was guided to this wee bit of like rough ground. It was like kind of overgrown. And there really wasn't anything there. It was like at the edge of a bit of grass, and then there was like a row of the graves. And it was like somebody was all of a sudden, I just kind of let go, and it was like I went down on my knees and I started like moving grass, like clearing grass. And there was this wee plaque hidden on the ground. And it was Victorian. It was an old graveyard. And it was basically like a wee orphan's grave.
Right.
And it was the orphan grave, and it was a wee boy. Sorry if you can hear bangers and fireworks going off there. And it was this wee boy. And I heard him saying to me, he was like, please remember me. And I was just like, and my friend, she's like standing back a bit, and she's watching this, like, what the hell? And this voice was just like, please remember me. And I was like to myself, like, in my head, I was like, who are you? And he was like, I'm the guardian of the children when their parents don't come to visit.
Wow.
When their parents aren't here, I'll look after them. I'm getting teary now. And I was like, I promise I'll remember you. So that's him.
Did you get a name?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. Because there wasn't a name on the grave.
Okay.
So it was just unknown child, male, orphan. So I don't know his name.
So
I don't know if he was. Yeah.
He's been remembered, which is what he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Aye. And so that was that, and I didn't mean to tell anybody that, and I'm sitting make everybody cry. Oh no.
Oh, that's really special, isn't it? And very powerful as well.
And there's lots of the deck's is so personal, but I'm not making it personal for, I'm not putting like stories like that. That's not in the guidebook, because I really don't want to like influence other people, because they might see that guardian card and have a completely different interpretation and a completely different meaning attached to it, and that's really why it's taken. Well, first of all, it took so long, because Terry was hand painting all of these actual paintings. And, the guidebook as well, it's like, right, let's talk about the art, but don't talk about the real story behind the art. So it's like, how much do you say and how much do you hold back so that people can input their own connection to the image, or to the title, etc.
So you're talking about the concept of a guardian, but like, they're not going into that particular experience.
Yeah.
But
So
for all the people that are trying to call me, can you please stop?
She's busy, all right.
Unbelievable.
You're just a popular lady. That's what it is.
Well, I wanted to ask. I know that grief of people that we've lost and people that have passed over. Is there also an aspect in there of people that have moved out of our lives,
Yes.
you know, that still impact us, or even situations, you know,
Yep.
that we're no longer a part of, but that we grieve for and fight
Right.
to let go of.
So one of the cards that we did was we done this one for retirement.
Oh.
You know, so it's like we done like the wee kind of like the wee old beaver here, and then like there's the two younger beavers actually working and making the dam, and then like that wee beaver looking has got like kind of grey fur. You know, we kind of done that to you know make the distinction between age, because there's you know there's all types of different grieving in here. You know, it's not just about actual people. You know, it's like we did this one here, like for home. You know,
Yes.
like if you know the grief of either losing a home or being displaced, or you know your home being destroyed, or you know, or the people that you call home, you know, no longer being able to see them. You know, there's so many different things that people, you know, attach it to. One of the other ones, so it was like the unicorn one. So it's for ancestors, and this is probably the only kind of nod to the fact that I'm Scottish, really. Because like the unicorn, for anybody who doesn't know, is the national animal in Scotland. So I thought, like, well, I said this was a description. It was round about December last year, and I think I had just watched like A Christmas Carol or something. And I said to Terry, Terry, could we get a unicorn? And she's like, uh-huh. And I was like, right, can it be in a kind of old abandoned graveyard? And can it look a bit Dickensian? And that was all the guidance that I gave her. I mean, honestly. And she came back with that.
It's beautiful. And I love the colours that she uses as well. Like the shades. Yeah.
Just, you know, and then it's like, so we've got another one like this. So it's like these are dolphins, and it's for growth. And what the idea behind that one was so you know how like if it's like kind of a like friendships or like people you know in your life, and they're maybe you know elevating themselves and getting on in their career, and you kind of feel like you're the one kind of looking on, and there's that kind of and it's like that kind of a weird dichotomy, because you're happy for the person that they're succeeding, but at the same time there's this wee kind of tinge, not necessarily jealousy, but a wee bit kind of a, oh well, I wish that was me, or how can I not do that? You know, so that's like where the growth comes from.
And perhaps grieving for that same connection that you
Yeah,
had, but then because it gets a little bit lost in translation, then it gets
exactly.
difficult. And
Mm-hmm.
said also, loss has so many faces.
It does.
Thank you again. And because you can be going through several different types of loss
Mm-hmm.
at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
that's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Grieving for people that have passed over, you know, a loss of maybe career or house or friends, all at the same time, and you can get lost in it.
Yeah,
It's
completely.
hard, yeah.
You get completely, and it's you know it's interesting. Like what one of the cards, I'm just kind of going through them here, and like when things like pop into my mind, I'm basically sharing it. One of the things was secret. So this is for like the concept of secret grief, because there's loads of it. So what the idea behind this was, and like why the kind of visual is, you know, it's like, you know, there's somebody left behind, you know, or there's a choice being made. So essentially, what it was there was a client, and they basically had an affair, right? And they had an affair for 30 years with this person. And all the while they were married. And the person that they were having an affair with died.
And then they had to keep it in. Swallow the grief.
Mm-hmm. And you know, and that was the initial concept behind that card, because, you know, and some people might not agree with that, you know, some people
There's
trauma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aye. It's, you know, it's that kind of a feeling, you know, and this client of mine, you know, she couldn't talk to anybody. You know, and the only person she could talk to was me. And she couldn't talk to her friends. You know, some of her friends knew, like, about, obviously, you know, the situation, but it was like, she was like, I can't talk to anybody because all I get is, well, he was married.
Must have felt that sense of being judged at
Yeah.
the same time. So
Right.
another, like, emotional crushing blow, because that must be difficult, because who do you talk to when you and she might have felt that guilt as well at the same time. So
and it was, you know, it was just so, and that's what I said, you know, right at the beginning, I wasn't going to shy away from things, you know, and like nobody needs to know that was the inspiration behind that card. You know, it's came up where, you know, other people have seen it and they've confided in me, where it's like grief, where other types of grief where society doesn't really give you an opportunity to openly grieve, like one mother, like a mother, like was talking to me, and she seen that card and she was like, you know, my child has got a disability. They were diagnosed with a disability, and she was like, and I love my child. She goes like, but there was still a part of me that grieved for the fact that my child is in this situation, but also for the fact that she doesn't have the child that she thought she would have, you know, but society doesn't want us to talk about that.
Yeah. How do you express it? Yeah. How do you just word that? So many emotions just wrapped around that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so that's what I'm saying, you know, and it's like, as Amy said, you know, there's like all different kinds of grief, and there's just so much wrapped up in this, and it's like, you know, we've got this card here, innocence.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's a loss of innocence, somebody taking that innocence, you know, and I think, you know what I'm talking about when I say that, you know, and there's concepts like that, and I was like, if I'm doing this, I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the real burning motivation. Once we get started in doing it, I was like, right, this needs to happen. You know?
And grieving for parts of yourself as well that you've lost along the way.
Exactly. You know, it was like, like, I know somebody who, like, has had a child, and they always wanted children, you know, and they're so happy, and their life is just amazing, and they absolutely love their life. But there's also a tiny part of them that misses and grieves for who they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's like the loss of self, because it's like, oh well, it's you're so and so the mother, and you're so and so the partner, but who are you? You know, and it's like losing, like nobody really seeing you.
Yeah.
You know, so as I say, there's so much like wrapped up in the cards, you know, and it's like you just get, and then you've got Ishin, who is just like fury.
Wow.
It's just like, you know, that powerful when there's nothing else you can do apart from just go and either scream in a pillow or scream in a field, just because it's the only emotion, it's the only thing that you can do.
This is taking me on quite a journey, talking about all these different levels of loss and grief, because it's so complicated and intertwined. And like you said, we don't talk about this
No.
stuff. I know that I spoken to you about my mum with her Alzheimer's. My mum's not there. My mum, as I knew her, is not there
It's
anymore.
not there.
She's somewhere else. And although she feels that loss acutely, she's not always aware of what she's lost, because it's very confusing for her. She realizes that she's lost something, and that's coming out in loss in many different ways for her. She's thinking, maybe I've left my bag here or my purse here or something, but really it's just, you know, that for trying to fill those gaps, and then for the people around her as well, lost an aspect that she's there, she's right there, but she's not, and it's difficult to. Yeah,
it's and that was I was waiting to see if you brought that up, because I was never going to, you know, bring it up, but that was really the concept behind this card, like the chameleon, because it's like it's the same animal, but because they change, they look different. You know, you see a different perspective, you see a different colour, you see a different, you know, and that's how, like, I named it transition, because it's moving from one state to another state, you know, and then, like, obviously that can be used, that card can be seen in so many different ways. You know, like, because, like, whether it's like a physical transition or whether it's like going through like one particular state to another physically, etc. You know, so there's a whole load of stuff, and we've just tried to cover as much and as sensitively as possible.
Yeah, and in 48 cards, do you think that there could be like a follow-on project from that? Have you thought of anything else that Aria? Because it's uncovered so many things, hasn't it? Wow.
Let me get through this. let me and Terry recover for that.
Oh, well, sorry.
What's next, Janine?
What's your next step?
What's your next one? No, and as you know, it was, what was funny is, like, you know, like, talking about like this, you know, it's like, so we've got this here is like for friendship, and this card is actually based on a 24-year-old joke between me and my best friend, and the story behind it is, you know, it's like every time, like, if we're feeling down or whatever, we just say giraffe and we just start laughing. And because when her first baby was born, right, so she had, like, been, what, like, she was 19, so two years were like 19, 20, and it was just a wee baby, and we're playing this game. Oh, what noise does this animal make, right? And, like, she would say one animal, and I would make the noise, you know, like cow or horse or whatever. And I said, what noise does a giraffe make? And she was like, made this really weird, like, kind of like noise. And I'm like, and we just fell about the place laughing. And it's literally like, that is just like made us laugh, like, all these years later, you know. And it's like we have this, like, thing where it's like we'll like send each other like random giraffe things for Amazon, like how maybe send her like a giraffe key ring or something. She'll send me like this ugly giraffe carved wooden statue thing. I mean, Janine, honestly, fucking horrible. But it was like, so when I thought about like friendship, it was like, right, we need to do giraffes.
Yeah.
Incidentally, giraffes don't make any noise because they don't have a voice box.
I didn't know that.
There you go. Yes.
Wow.
And they've got a black tongue so that it doesn't get sunburnt when they're pulling things off of the trees to eat them in the African sun.
Right. Wow. No, I didn't know that.
But you know, and then I was listening to like a podcast last week, and it was like one of the women were saying, you know, how do you cope with a friendship breakup?
That's difficult.
You know, there's no really a kind of a like guidance for that. You know, there's loads and loads of guidance if you split up with a romantic partner, but how do you navigate the loss of a friendship?
Yeah, that's one that a lot of people can like link in with as well. And if the friendship changed significantly, and you just can't connect as you used to, that's also difficult, isn't it?
And then you've got the fact that like your friends can be like the people who support you through things. So, you know, even just that one card, you know, there's so many different meanings you can attribute to it.
Yeah, and I love that you've kept it so it's not. Sorry, you did explain it before. So with the 48 cards, it's not like separated out into the elements, you know, like a tarot card system or anything like that. So it does make it easier for somebody to pick up the cards and connect with them. And also use them to connect with other people as well. So the people will be using them for readings and using them for self-readings.
So, you know, there's some cards and they've been so like amazingly accurate, you know. Like for instance, like when I get these like prototypes, I get a copy for myself and a couple of PR copies and one for my mum and one for Terry, obviously, because you know my mother, she's a Scorpio, she needs the things, so there would have been a huff, you know. But she was using them and without like a guidebook or anything, and just using them and saying like, what is it I need today? And the friendship card came out, and she was like, oh well, what I need my friends. And literally like 10 minutes later, one of her best friends chaps her door and says, do you fancy going to the cafe and getting like a wee cuppa, you know, and having a chat? And you know, the two of them, like they've experienced the loss of their husbands around the same time. You know, it's like they've been friends for like 50 odd years or something, and they experienced this almost kind of simultaneously.
Wow.
You know, so that kind of that friendship has been integral to both of their grief journeys.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it's just things like that. You know, so and that's what she said. She goes, it's been so, you know, and she's been like total like top Trump's mum, and every time she talks to somebody, it's like she keeps the cards in her handbag and she's like, do you want to see what my Marion's been doing? And I'm like, oh mum, stop.
Oh no, that's lovely.
I know. She's been totally like promoting it and everything. I'm like, oh mum, really? And explaining to like her 70-year-old friend group what a Kickstarter is and getting them all tech savvy to make up Kickstarter accounts and everything. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, can you tell everybody where they can link in with your Kickstarter tomorrow, and also where they can find out more information as well?
So you can find more information. There's information just on posts here on Instagram, on my Instagram account, Marion K Tarot. There is loads and loads of beautiful artwork on Terry's Instagram as well. It's Terry Cattrall Art, I think it is. So see the leaflet you've got, it's got an Instagram handle.
I'll link you both when I put the video up afterwards as well.
Yep. And then any further information will be available on the Kickstarter page, which will be live at 7 p.m. tomorrow night.
So exciting. I'm going to be travelling to Finland, but I'm going to have an eye on your project as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh, very nice. I do like Finland.
I used to live there back in 2005. Yeah, so there's another type of grief as well, you know, the place that I used to live. And for a long time, so we'll see how that pans out.
Oh,
yeah, it'll be quite special. There's a
want
lot.
To see the Moomins.
What's the Moomins? Yeah,
the Moomins.
When I was a kid, and I remembered the Moomins, and when I started living in Finland, there was a Moomin museum and everything. So I was like, oh, museum, Moomin teddies, Moomin t-shirts.
No, one of my best friends, she's Finnish. She lives in Australia now, but Hannah, it was her that told me that Moomins are from Finland, and I was like, I love Moomins. And I remember any time she came to visit, it's like she brought me a Moomin keyring. Yeah. So it's like every time I see my Moomin keyring, it's like I think, you know, it warms my heart.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to get over there and check out that Moomin museum.
Absolutely. Any excuse. I'm going to my next trip is Vienna in December, the very beginning of December. I'm going to a numerology intensive.
Oh, wow!
Held by Mr. Richard Abbott.
Really? Wow.
So
is he living over there?
No.
Oh, right. Okay.
For some random reason, he just decided to have a thing in Vienna, and he announced it just before.
It's Austria,
yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, it's Austria. And at the conference, I was at the carry. I was like, "Did you see Richard's having a shindig in Vienna?" She's like, "I've never been to Vienna." I was like, "Neither have I." So I basically just said, Richard, go and give us 2 tickets. Me and Carrie are coming."
Oh, is she going? Because she's in Bulgaria, isn't she? I'm not too sure about where that's placed. Is it close to Austria? It's not far, is it?
It's an hour and a half flight.
Oh, okay.
So it takes her longer to get from where she lives to the airport in Bulgaria than what it does to fly from Bulgaria to Austria.
Oh, right, okay.
So she's a 3-hour drive away from the airport, but then it's only an hour and a half, so it's right.
Oh, but wow, that's going to be really special.
Well, I'm really excited because I've always wanted to go to Vienna because the Spanish riding school is based in Vienna with the Lipizzaner horses, now the big white dancing horses. Wow. So they have their stables there, and I've always wanted to see them since I was little. So there might be a wee bit of inner work, child grief work going on there when I'm there. So
Oh, well, have an amazing time.
I shall.
But yeah, good luck with everything tomorrow. I'm sure.
Thank you.
Please, everybody,
if anybody wants to sign up to be notified when it launches, if you just go into my profile and there's a bit that says like my link tree, and there's 2 links. You can go to my link tree, or you can go to the Kickstarter launch. Go there and you can just hit the notify me, and you'll be told. So yeah, 30 days it runs for, and fingers crossed we make the target, and then we can get the next stage of it going.
Oh, excellent. And yeah, that's what I was going to say. So everybody get over and subscribe, and be on it tomorrow as well. And thank you, everybody.
I'm going live tomorrow night as well. Yes, I've got a very special guest joining me.
It's a secret. Okay.
It is a secret. Somebody who's very shy, but they're going to be brave. Oh, there's Maria. There's my wee Taurus twin, Maria.
Oh well, yeah. Can't wait to see you again.
Me and Maria are birthday twins, only I'm 10 years older than her. That's what she likes to tell everybody, so I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, and thank you everybody else as well for joining.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I'll put the video up and I'll put the links up as well. And somebody said, won't need notifying, be staying at the page, mouse poised and ready. Perfect, good. That's what we want everybody to do. And hopefully we can get you on your target.
That's Chris. You know how I was talking at the conference about my emotional support Scorpio? That's him. Love you, darling.
You've got some
yes. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky with the people I've got round about me.
You take
so yeah.
care, and
thank you so much for inviting me.
Wishing you all the best for tomorrow. Loads of love and lots of luck as well. And you'll get that. You'll meet your target, absolutely.
Thank you so much for that. Bye. Love you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Take care. Speak soon. Bye.